Chapter 555. Yes, we didn't find out about the dislocation you mentioned. Zhuo yelled. That's because she reattached it for me. The doctor couldn't help but blurt out. She's a miracle doctor. Her healing skills are superb. Zhui. The doctor coughed awkwardly and said, Mr. Zhuo, in short, there's really nothing wrong with your body. Zhui broke down. His body was fine, but his mind was. As soon as he closed his eyes, his mind would be filled with the image of that demonic child who looked gentle on the outside and broke like a fried dough twist. Zhui couldn't help but shiver. The back of his clothes was already soaked in cold sweat. He finally began to regret what he had done in the past. If he hadn't treated Shui that way back then, would he not have suffered the consequences of his own actions today? As evening approached, the Xiang brothers all left one after another as they had their own matters to attend to. In the end, only Xiang Feng stayed behind. Unable to stand Xiangyi's coquettish behavior, he ordered a takeout feast for his niece, which included all kinds of junk food. The two of them even hid in the small kitchen and secretly ate behind Shui and Director Zheng's backs. Come cheers. Xiang Feng held the milk tea and toasted Xiangyi with pride. Xiangyi took a big gulp and successfully sucked in the pearl herb and pudding. She also ordered a piece of fried chicken that was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, which was dipped in sweet and spicy sauce. When she bit into it, she could even hear the crisp sound of it burning. The girl squinted her eyes in bliss as her little legs fluttered excitedly. Eating junk food was so delicious. It's so delicious. Little uncle. Xiang Feng smiled foolishly. Hee, I like it too. The uncle and niece reached a consensus and dug in. This scene was recorded by the camera, and the audience in the live stream protested. This 3D surround sound. Ah, I'm dying of hunger. Little uncle seems a little unreliable, but I love it so much, ha ha ha. Last second. Fried chicken with milk tea is so hot. I'm not eating it. At this second. Are you there? Do you have a takeout coupon? I'll place the order now. After eating and drinking to her heart's content, Xiangyi felt a little guilty. She rubbed her belly, took a clean paper box, and filled it with all the food. Who is it for? Shui, Xiangyi said seriously. It's not good to eat alone. Xiang Feng said with certainty, he won't eat such junk food. Don't judge him by how he can endure hardships when he's filming. He's usually very pretentious. He doesn't eat explosives, he doesn't drink milk tea, and he rarely touches anything sour or spicy. He's even healthier than the elderly. The next second, a deep and magnetic voice drifted into his ears from afar. It's not a bad idea to eat some occasionally. Xiang Feng. He instinctively felt guilty, but when he saw that Shui was alone, he was slightly relieved. TSK. Wasn't it because Chun Chun and the others used to catch her in the act so often that she was traumatized? The table was in a mess. Shui glanced over and stopped for a few seconds on Xiangyi's iced milk tea, which had only 1/3 left. Do you want to try it? This fried chicken and onion rings are very delicious, and there's also a pumpkin pie. Xiangyi handed over the small box like she was presenting a treasure. Shui smiled slightly and didn't let Xiangyi down. He tried all of them. Oh, not bad, he commented. Xiang Feng's eyes widened. You're actually making an exception to eat these? Didn't you say you would never eat junk food? Shui said indifferently. First of all, people can't eat junk food. Secondly, a white horse isn't a horse. Junk food doesn't equal junk food. Finally, what you eat isn't important. What's important is who I'm eating with. Chapter 556. The man's voice was mellow and gentle, and he looked like a gentleman. Yet his words were inexplicably sweet. The experts in the live stream all popped up. I'm getting candy every day. Square root. Focus. The most important thing is to eat it with Sister E. Shui is so good at this. She's reasonable, and a little flirtatious. He'll eat all the food she gives him. This joke is so sweet and torturous. Are there any wives out there? The comments section was in full swing, but in reality, Xiang Feng made a vomiting gesture. I'm going to vomit. You're not forcing yourself to eat food you don't like because of me, are you? Xiangyi. Shui. The netizens. Bro, don't say any more, I understand. Xiang Feng patted Shui on the shoulder and said earnestly, be a human, don't be a pervert. Shui was not surprised and simply smiled without saying anything. Xiang Yi couldn't help but put her hand to her forehead. There was a reason why Xiang Feng had the lowest IQ in the family. Xiang Feng. I understand. Well, it's my fault for being so popular. The whole world likes the handsome and charming me. The netizens? What? Mr. Xiang, do you have some misconceptions about yourself? What kind of rare and naive species is this? But why do I find him so cute? On this day, something happened that made the public relations department of an internet celebrity company under Xingchen Entertainment not know whether to laugh or cry. The overall quality of the internet celebrities cultivated by the company was not bad, but they didn't have many fans in the industry. However, they didn't expect that after their boss appeared on Two Under One Roof, he would inexplicably become famous all over the internet. The number of fans he gained in a day was even greater than the number of circles that the public relations department had worked hard to maintain for a long time. Their boss had become famous before the internet celebrities under their company became famous. After dinner, Xiang Yi reluctantly said goodbye to Xiang Feng. Xiang Feng ate too much, and his abdominal muscles were almost squished together as he scrolled through the news on his cell phone. The chauffeur drove steadily. Suddenly, screech. The tires screeched violently against the ground. Xiang Feng's body leaned forward uncontrollably, but he bounced back to his original position with the help of the seat belt. Mr. Xiang. The chauffeur trembled. Someone fainted. It was originally a sunny day, but for some reason, it started to rain. It was a downpour. A frail and slender woman was lying in front of the car. Her white dress clung tightly to her body, outlining her graceful curves. The driver lowered his gaze, not daring to look at her. Xiang Feng, however, was very calm. Call 120 first. Okay. After the driver finished the call, he saw that Xiang Feng hadn't moved. Mr. Xiang, why don't I go down and take a look? Although the woman was not hit by them but fell on her own, out of humanitarian spirit, the driver felt that they should go and take a look. No way. What if I blackmail you? Driver. Are you listening to human speech? On the ground, Qin Wanyan was so cold that her teeth were chattering. She had used up the last of her points to exchange for a weather-changing card. After waiting for a long time, she finally fell right in front of Xiang Feng's car. Unexpectedly, he didn't get out of the car even after a few minutes. Instead, the ambulance arrived. The car window finally rolled down, and she heard the man speak. Can you still stand up? Qin Wanyan's eyes were filled with hope. She thought that Xiang Feng couldn't bear to get out of the car to accompany her, but she heard the next sentence. The ambulance's stretcher is charged. If you can stand up, I suggest you climb into the car. That way you can save some money. No need to thank me. After all, I'm the successor of socialism. Qin Wanyan. Chapter 557. Qin Wanyan was completely dumbfounded when she heard Xiang Feng, that universe-level man of steel, speak. She questioned the system in her mind. Are you sure he's my target? Is there a need to target such a perfect man? The little system said weakly, Hello, host. According to my calculations, the target has the aura of a domineering CEO. Both his assets and appearance are top-notch in this dimension. In addition, he has an entertainment empire under his name. If you target him, you'll be in the entertainment industry. Hearing this, Qin Wanyan gritted her teeth and pinched her thigh hard. Tears squeezed out of her eyes, and her body trembled from the cold. Sir, I'm so scared. Can you please accompany me to the hospital? The woman in the white dress looked pitiful under the heavy rain. If it were any other man, even if they weren't moved, they would at least soften. However, Xiang Feng said warily, You want me to pay for your stretcher? It's too expensive. It's not worth it. Don't extort me. Qin Wanyan was speechless. She choked and couldn't speak. At this moment, a doctor got out of the car and held an umbrella for Qin Wanyan. He did a simple checkup to see if she had any fractures or bleeding. A nurse took her temperature with a thermometer. The patient's fever is 39 degrees. Qin Wanyan forced herself to stay awake and looked in Xiang Feng's direction with tears in her eyes. The man poked half his head out of the car window and said something that made her feel suffocated. 39 degrees? 666. Awesome. Qin Wanyan was speechless. He met a young woman who was soaking wet in the rain. Instead of carrying her to the car, he said 666 to her with a high fever. What kind of man was this? Qin Wanyan's eyes rolled. Because of her body and extreme anger, she fainted. 2 days later. The sun was shining brightly. It was a sunny day. Xiangyi and Shui arrived at the set of Achieving the Tao, which director Zhang was filming. Director Zhang was directing and couldn't leave, so he asked the assistant director to receive them. The assistant director, whose surname was Liu, glanced at Xiangyi before turning back to Shui as if nothing had happened. Shiringdi, welcome, welcome. Director Liu shook hands with Shui. Then he wanted to shake hands with Xiangyi as well, but the girl only nodded slightly. Hello. Director Liu was instantly displeased. He felt that Xiangyi did not know how to appreciate his kindness. So many popular female celebrities had to flatter him when they saw him. What right did Xiangyi have to be so arrogant? What an idiot. With his status, wouldn't it be easy for him to make things difficult for her on set? Shiringdi, your dressing room is in front. Teacher Xiang, your room is over here. Shui rubbed Xiangyi's hair. I'll come to you later. Xiangyi nodded obediently. She entered the makeup room. The makeup artist had yet to arrive. Director Liu walked around outside for a while. Seeing that there was no one around, he swaggered in. They first chatted about their daily lives, then he changed the topic. Miss Xiang, this must be your first time acting seriously, right? Don't worry, we'll take good care of Xiangyi. At most, we'll shoot a few more scenes. Director Liu sounded like he was taking care of her, but he was actually dissing her for being inexperienced in acting. In the past year, Xiangyi had indeed acted in idol dramas, but they were of the crudely produced kind. Her acting skills were so bad that she could only stare and pout while pretending to cry. There were even animated pictures of her dark history circulating on the internet. Xiangyi said, "Thank you, I'll pay more attention." Director Liu sneered, "You?" Chapter 558. Xiangyi looked at him quietly. Director Liu used his usual tactic to suppress actresses and said, "There are some things that can't be achieved with hard work. As humans, it's important to know your own limits. Ahem, I'm not talking about you, but don't take it personally." However, his tone was clearly saying, "Please take my words to heart. In this crew, you artists have it the easiest. Look at the cameraman, lighting technician, stage supervisor, and those extras. Which one of them doesn't have it tough?" Director Liu pretended to sigh and said, "Everyone has it tough. Everyone wants to work hard and do their job well. However, some people can reap 10 times the benefits, while others may not even reap 1% of the benefits." So? Xiangyi asked. Her calmness surprised Director Liu. Most actresses would start to feel anxious when they heard this. In today's society, women were under a lot of pressure. In the entertainment industry, female artists were not only anxious about their looks, but also about their careers. They would always feel that they were not good enough. When they heard others denying themselves, they would doubt their lives even more. If you're not good at your job, why don't you try something else? Director Liu used this method to get many actresses to willingly climb into his bed. Seeing that Xiangyi was not enlightened, Director Liu cleared his throat and said, "Teacher Xiang, your popularity now is only brought about by variety shows. Without the popularity of your work, you're like duckweed. Without a foundation, you won't be able to stand firm." Why should duckweed stand firm? Xiangyi was puzzled. If you're a salted fish, you'll have to make a comeback. If you're a duckweed, you can just float as you please. Everyone has the right to choose their own life. Director Liu was speechless. So you're willing to be a duckweed? Can't I be a human? Xiangyi said calmly. Director Liu was speechless. Why is this young lady so stubborn? Coincidentally, the makeup artist arrived. When she saw Xiangyi in person, the makeup artist was stunned. "Teacher Xiang, your skin condition is so good. You don't even need to put on any foundation makeup. The makeup artist praised as she busied herself. I'll just give you a simple highlight. Director Liu shamelessly refused to leave. He inched closer and said, let me help. Teacher Xiang, let me help you with your hair. The makeup artist's expression was ugly, but he didn't dare to say anything. Director Zhang was an actor fanatic. He could film for an entire day just for a few scenes. Usually, he did not care about the daily chores of the crew. So Director Liu became an existence that could cover the sky with one hand. Xiangyi was one step ahead of Director Liu. She picked up the small metal box that someone had left behind on the table and said calmly, I have a specialty. Director Liu teased Xiangyi. I also have a specialty. The next second, crack. The small iron box was easily deformed by her single hand. She raised her eyebrows and said indifferently, it's nothing, just a little too strong. Director Liu felt a sharp pain in a part of his body. With Xiangyi's strength, it would probably explode with a casual squeeze. Director Liu gulped and frantically tried to find an excuse. Well, I suddenly remembered that I have a scene to direct later. I'll go to the set first. After he left, the makeup artist couldn't help but give Xiangyi a thumbs up. Teacher Xiang, you're awesome. You have no idea how many female staff members in the crew are annoyed by him. Finally, there's someone who can control him, ha ha ha. Chapter 559. At the same time, some fans who were camping at the set of Obtaining the Tao secretly took photos of Shi Sui and Xiangyi coming to the set. After posting the photos online, it instantly caused a huge uproar. On one hand, it was because of Shi Sui's influence that more people began to pay attention to the show. On the other hand, it was because of Xiangyi's professional skills that she was once again singled out and ridiculed by the masses. Joke aside, Xiangyi's acting. Please don't act. With such a beautiful face, can't she become a fashion model in a magazine? To be honest, Shi Sui has lost his mind because of lust. Doesn't he know that he has to rely on his own life to become famous? I thought there was nothing more torturous than the vase fairy singing, but I didn't expect there to be such a thing. That is, acting skills. Every frame of her is like a ghost video. After someone posted a photo of Director Liu entering Xiangyi's dressing room, the discussion became even more heated. Wow, I think I've suddenly understood something. I suddenly feel like Xiangyi is so disgusting. Don't tell me her image as a group favorite is also a publicity stunt? Would a real rich beauty do such a thing? So what if she's rich and beautiful? Many children of rich families are psychopaths. Some steal things for thrills while others steal people for thrills. With the invention of the internet, the spread of information reached the fastest speed in the history of human civilization. Countless pieces of information, good, bad, meaningful, meaningless, and fragmented, occupied the time. Warmth and beauty were shared. Hostility and savagery collided. 1 second, one might be moved to tears by the positive energy, but the next second, one would be typing on the keyboard fiercely. The evil and good of human nature might not have a fixed pattern to begin with, but rather, it was constantly changing. Even ordinary people would be pointed at and gossiped about. Not to mention the popular Xiangyi. Some people were madly in love with her, while others thought everything about her was wrong. The controversy seemed to never stop. The makeup artist was still putting on Xiangyi's eye makeup when Shi Sui came over. The man was dressed in a white robe with wide sleeves. His long eyebrows reached his temples. After putting on a wig, he looked like an elegant young master from ancient times who was seeking immortality. Xiangyi stared at Shi Sui in the mirror without blinking. How could she be so beautiful? Shi Sui greets the makeup artist. She glances at the girl's expression through the glasses and chuckles. Do you like it? Xiangyi nodded vigorously. The makeup artist didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Sister E, don't be so forceful. Your eyeshadow almost made you faint. I'm sorry. Xiangyi was a little embarrassed and quickly sat down. An actress' makeup was difficult to put on, and braiding her hair was even more time-consuming. Shi Sui stayed with Xiangyi for a while, and seeing that she was sleepy, he went out to buy her coffee. Shi Sui ordered a vanilla latte for the bunny. When she returned, she heard Director Liu talking on the phone with someone at the end of the corridor. Xiangyi? That girl is so aloof. I don't know who she's putting on an act for. I don't believe that she's rich and beautiful. Would a real rich family let their daughter enter the entertainment industry? What's the difference between that and selling? Telling Xiangyi that he was going to the scene was just an excuse. In fact, he had been loitering nearby. If he didn't take advantage of Xiangyi, his heart would itch. But she's really stunning. Her waist is thin and her butt is perky. From the back, she's definitely hee-hee. Whoosh, his phone was suddenly snatched away. Who is it? Are you crazy? Director Liu was halfway through his scolding when he saw Shui. His expression suddenly stiffened and he stuttered. Sure Shui. Chapter 560. He never expected that someone would overhear him complaining to his friend over the phone. Of all people, it was Shui. He had interacted with Shui before, and his deepest impression of her was that she was a natural at acting. She would almost always complete her scenes in one take, and even if she yelled cut, it was mostly because of the other actors. Apart from that, Shui was gentle and polite to people, and was almost non-aggressive. The young best actor lowered his eyes and hung up the phone casually. Director Liu felt uneasy, but he pretended to be calm. I was just joking with my friend over the phone. You know what men are like. I was just joking. Please don't take it to heart. Shui said in a lazy voice. What should I do? I do take it to heart. Director Liu laughed dryly. Haha, I know you two are close friends. Let me apologize to you. It's my fault. You found the wrong person to apologize to. Director Liu was displeased to hear that. He apologized to Shui because he wanted to give Shui some face. Xiangyi was just a young girl. Not only did she not suck up to him, she even wanted him to apologize to her? Director Liu subconsciously said what was on his mind. Is that necessary? As soon as he said that, Shui grabbed his collar. His collar was suddenly grabbed, and Director Liu felt an irresistible force that threw him against the wall. Not necessary? The window was half open and the summer breeze blew in. But Director Liu felt a chill in his heart. Yes, it's necessary. Director Liu's legs turned to jelly and his voice was trembling. Shui, take it easy. We're on the 3rd floor. The pair of eyes behind the gold-rimmed glasses were deep and indifferent, without a trace of emotion. The man finally tore off his mask of gentleness, revealing the powerful aura that he usually hid well. Go apologize. The man's voice was cold. Immediately, Xiangyi's hair was halfway braided when Director Liu suddenly barged in recklessly. He bowed and apologized profusely, his humble attitude completely different from before. Teacher Xiang, I won't disturb you any longer. Director Liu came and left in a hurry. Xiangyi? ? It was quite sudden. The makeup artist was also stunned. How did this person suddenly change? Is it raining red? Xiangyi shook her head, indicating that she didn't know either. A while after Director Liu left, Shui came back with a cup of coffee. Is the coffee shop far away? Xiangyi felt that he had been gone for a long time. I accidentally spilled it, so I went to buy another cup. Hearing this, Xiangyi immediately asked nervously, Are you okay? Are you scalded? Shui hid her left hand behind her back. Nothing. Xiangyi was so anxious that her baby voice came out. Let me see. Shui then reluctantly showed it to her. Faint blue veins could be vaguely seen on his cold white skin. There was a red burn mark on his skin. Although it wasn't very serious, it was exceptionally obvious. The makeup artist thought that Xiangyi would say something along the lines of, Why are you so careless? Unexpectedly, the girl sighed. You're really too delicate. The makeup artist. You're not allowed to do this kind of work in the future. Let me do it. Xiangyi said seriously. Shui couldn't help but laugh. Okay. Thank you, sistery. The makeup artist was stunned on the spot. So Shui is such a gigolo. At the filming location, Shui first filmed a few dialogue scenes, most of which were bickering with the male lead. He had a solid foundation in his lines and passed all the scenes in one take. Immediately after, it was his turn to film scenes with Xiangyi. Chapter 561. Shering-di is going to shoot a scene with a female star? Is that true? I can't imagine it. Back then, he and Jong-yi had such a flirtatious look in their eyes. It'll be so cool if there's an intimate scene. I think it's true, but I heard that the script has been changed. The female star is amazing. She brought money into the cast, and she even brought 5 people's money. Damn, she's so good at it. That's right. Hee, maybe there's more than 5 people. A few staff members in the drinking area were gossiping in low voices, laughing happily. Suddenly, a roar was heard. How can some people be so sarcastic? How annoying. How despicable. They were all speechless. A person sat up on a reclining chair nearby and took off the script and jacket covering his face. It was Fu Jiayan, the male lead of Achieving the Truth. The man had not removed his makeup. His black hair was like a waterfall, and his eyebrows were handsome. He had an ancient charm but not lost his liveliness. Fu Jiayan rested his slender fingers on his forehead and yawned lazily. Sorry, I'm just practicing my lines. Did I disturb you? The faces of the gossiping staff changed slightly. They had been on the set of Achieving the Truth for so long and had read the script. From beginning to end, the male lead had never said such lines. It was nothing more than Fu Jiayan scolding them indirectly. However, even if they knew what was going on, they did not dare to offend the lead actor with a limitless future. They could only smile stiffly and agree. Mr. Fu, your lines are so good. Mr. Fu, why don't you go back to the dressing room to rest? It's not good for your waist to lie on this chair for too long. Ha ha ha, Mr. Fu, what are you talking about? We're afraid that will disturb your practice. They found an excuse and quickly slipped away. Fu Jiayan snorted coldly. Bah! How dare you speak ill of our sister E? He had just done a few scenes with Shui, and the pressure was too great. Moreover, he had been filming nonstop for the past few days. He was too lazy to go back to the dressing room, so he decided to rest here. He did not expect him to overhear their conversation. Fu Jiayan lowered his head and sent a message to Director Zhang. Not long after, the staff members who had spoken ill of Xiangyi were all asked to leave the set. They looked at each other in dismay, as if they were struck by lightning. Why? At the filming location. The location was set in an antique building. The furniture in the building was basically emptied, making it look spacious and clean. In contrast, the smoky red gauze curtain was like a faint mist. When the blower blew, the mist seemed to be flowing, layer upon layer, densely spreading out. Director Zhang was urging them to adjust the lighting one last time. The warm dim lighting pushed the ambiguous atmosphere to the extreme. His eyes lit up when he saw Shui and Xiangyi. There was no need to talk about Shui. What amazed him the most was Xiangyi's costume. Originally, he was worried that Xiangyi's appearance wouldn't be suitable for ancient costumes. He didn't expect that the girl's bone structure was so good that she didn't look out of place in ancient costumes. Her red clothes were like raging flames, outlining her graceful and slender figure. Her eyeliner was slightly lengthened, and as her eyes moved, she was beautiful but not beautiful, seductive but not glamorous. She was naturally devastatingly beautiful. Director Zhang suddenly thought of a description: clean and seductive. The two words, which were originally completely unrelated, were perfectly integrated in Xiangyi's words. His mind was overflowing with inspiration. He instantly overturned the original filming plan and came up with a new arrangement. Sister E, let me tell you the scene again. How about we let Shui seduce you? I just realized that it's a double monthly ticket. Please give me a monthly ticket. Chapter 562. Xiangyi was stunned for a moment before she nodded. Okay, I'm fine with anything. The crew was dumbfounded. What was going on? Wasn't the demoness seducing the celestial? Why was it the other way around? Wasn't this OOC? Director Zhang was inspired and continued. In terms of the plot, it's fine as long as it's logical and self-consistent. The most important thing is the atmosphere between the two of you. The demoness is seductive on the outside but clean on the inside, while the celestial is abstinent on the outside but devilish on the inside. One seduces without knowing it, while the other wants to restrain himself but can't. The scriptwriter was a girl wearing black-rimmed glasses. When she heard the director's words, she excitedly typed on the keyboard. Oh, how moving! How moving! Director Zhang really knew how to do this. Just imagining it made her feel as if countless scenes would be blocked as soon as she wrote them. In the past, when she was asked to change the script, she would be dejected. Today, Director Zhang didn't even need to say anything. She wanted to add a few thousand words to this plot. When Director Zhang and Xiangyi were almost done, the scriptwriter finished changing the plot and took the initiative to show it to Director Zhang. After Director Zhang read it, he was overjoyed. Good. This is the feeling I wanted. Then he was puzzled. You usually don't have any motivation to work. Why do you look like you're on steroids today? The scriptwriter screamed in her heart. Because I'm an untimely CP fan. On the surface, she said calmly, because I've decided to turn over a new leaf and devote all my passion to work. Director Zhang looked at her suspiciously for a few seconds before his attention returned to Xiangyi. He was a little worried about Xiangyi's acting skills. If she was just average, he could still teach her through drama and guidance. But if she was hopelessly bad for this scene, he could only focus on Shui's scenes and let her be a beautiful vase. Shui and Xiangyi both had photographic memories. They only watched it once and remembered all the lines. This saved a lot of time. Director Zhang waved his hand. Let's do a test shoot first. If there are any problems with the equipment and lighting, we can adjust it again. Saying this was to save Xiangyi some face in front of everyone. Even if the shooting was too bad, Director Zhang could still give her a way out. Meanwhile, the few staff members who had been fired earlier were filled with resentment. It just so happened that the large group of people who were working did not have time to kick them out. When they heard someone talking about Director Zhang changing the plot at the last minute, a few of them uploaded a screenshot online. When the netizens saw the changed plot, they started mocking him again. Can the vase fairy act in such a difficult plot? Shui seduced Xiangyi? Was she even worthy? Is there something wrong with the director's brain? Doesn't Shuringdi have misogyny? How is he going to act? Isn't he deliberately making things difficult for others? How much did Xiangyi spend to bribe the director? Just as the netizens were mocking him non-stop, the filming began. The smoky red gauze curtains fluttered in the wind, and the paper lanterns were warm and charming. The venerable immortal who had mistakenly entered the illusion first looked around. When he saw the demoness resting on the bed, he immediately drew his sword. The next moment, the ignorant and beautiful little demoness opened her eyes without realizing it. Her pupils were clean and clear, but there was a seductive charm to them. The little demoness blinked innocently. When she saw the long sword in his hand, she showed a little fear. Hence, the aloof and abstinent celestial venerable was expressionless, but extremely gentle as he put away his sword. Chapter 563. The little demoness heaved a sigh of relief, looking extremely relieved. At this point, Director Zhang, who was watching from behind the monitor, wanted to slap the table and cheer. Shui's performance was as good as ever, and there was nothing much to comment on. However, Xiangyi's performance was really surprising. From the initial confusion to the adorable look after the celestial put away his sword, her performance was natural and smooth, without any trace of acting. Acting didn't feel like acting. For a new actor, this was a very difficult thing to do. However, Xiangyi did it. Director Zhang had originally expected only 10 points from Xiangyi, but now that Xiangyi had scored 80 points, he was even happier. In the frame, the Celestial Lord, who was dressed in white and had wide sleeves, was walking towards the little demoness. Finally, he stopped in front of the bed. "Who are you?" the little demoness asked with her head tilted. "Do you want to know?" The Celestial Lord's voice was deep and hoarse. "Tell me your name first." The little demoness said warily. "Don't come so close, or I'll eat you up." The man seemed to laugh. "How will you eat me up?" The little demoness plucked up her courage and pushed him. Based on her skills, she could not do anything to the Celestial Lord. A strange look flashed across the man's eyes, and he took 2 steps back to put some distance between them. His hands under his wide sleeves unconsciously clenched into fists, and he gradually exerted strength to his joints. Director Zhang thought to himself, he's indeed a 3-award-winning actor. His acting is so delicate. This man was fickle and had few desires. Naturally, he would struggle when his heart was moved for the first time. He did not want to hurt her. However, has Sui's acting skills improved recently? Her affectionate and restrained gaze was so good. Director Zhang was secretly shocked. Sui was probably the most qualified person among the younger generation to compete for an international acting award. The Celestial Lord's actions made the little demoness think that he was actually very weak. When she noticed the bloodstains on the Celestial Lord's body, she hesitated for a moment before jumping off the bed and patting the mattress generously. You can sleep for a while. Huh. You are injured. You need to rest. The demoness tugged at the Immortal Supremacy's sleeve, indicating for him to lie down. The man's expression was unreadable. He lay down silently and closed his eyes to rest. A rustling sound came from beside him. It was the little banshee who was curiously touching his sword. The flying sword that caused countless people in the immortal cultivation world to tremble in fear was now being played by the little demoness. She even secretly tied the sword tassel into a bow. The celestial venerable frowned slightly but did not stop him. After the demoness finished fiddling with the sword, she became interested in the Immortal Supremacy. She first used her finger to poke at the Immortal Supremacy's sleeve before poking at his belt. Her fair and slender wrist was suddenly grabbed by a pair of large hands. Stop it. The man's voice was hoarse. Oh. The demoness wanted to retract her hand but realized that it would not budge. She whispered, stop fooling around. In response to her, the man's rough fingertips gently and slowly rubbed her wrist a few times. Director Zhang took a close-up of this scene. His large hand holding her small hand was inexplicably very expressive. The crew at the scene was stunned. On one hand, it was because of Xiangyi's acting skills. On the other hand, it was because Sui was actually holding Xiangyi's hand without any abnormalities. One had to know that he would vomit on the spot if he had any physical contact with other actresses. But why was nothing wrong with holding Xiangyi's hand? It seemed like he was enjoying holding her hand. Chapter 564. The little demoness' ears turned red as she was caught off guard by his touch. She was shocked and panicked. Without thinking, she bit the man's fingertip. Ouch, the man gasped, as if he was holding back something. After a while, he released his hand and covered his eyes, not wanting to reveal any of his emotions. The little demoness thought that she had bitten him. She said carefully, well, I'm a monster. I'm poisonous. The Celestial Lord did not respond. The little demoness said nervously, will I poison you to death? I've been in the illusion realm for a long time. You're the first person to come in. If you die like this, won't I be alone again? She was very distressed and blamed herself. After thinking about it, the little demoness made a bold decision. She climbed onto the bed and approached the Celestial Lord like a nimble cat. The Celestial Lord noticed her small movements and said helplessly, I won't die so easily. The rest of the words were all choked back. The reason was that the little demoness was lying on his chest and licking her red lips. I'll give you half of my inner core. The Celestial Lord tried to push her, but she did not budge. Everyone was immersed in this sweet and flirtatious scene when they suddenly heard a sound. Cut. Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream. Although they didn't know what went wrong, there were still many people who looked at Xiangyi with gloating eyes. Sui was the best actor. How could he make a mistake? Of course, Xiangyi was at fault. Unexpectedly, Director Zhang shouted, Sui, what's wrong with you? Did you not eat enough? Push her. Push her harder. Everyone was speechless. What? So it wasn't Xiangyi who made a mistake, but Sui? Sui coughed and said sorry. Ever since he entered the industry, he had never made such a low-level mistake. He did not expect to fall for Xiangyi. Who could bear to push away such a gentle and adorable little rabbit? The scriptwriter was so agitated that he covered his nose with a tissue, afraid that he would have a nosebleed. This plot was too good. If you don't write fanfiction, you're not human. She took out her phone, opened the sticky note app, and began to slack off. Apotheosis Immortal Qing Ling X soft and cute demoness. She has no morals, and only eats meat for the sake of eating meat. If you don't like her, please click cross. She typed furiously, writing more than 1,000 words in a matter of minutes. On the other side, after the stylist touched up Shui and Xiangyi's makeup, she began the second shoot. Both of them were on point, and their acting went smoothly. The Immortal Prime mercilessly pushed the little demoness away and coldly said, "Don't come near me." The little demoness fell to the ground and looked at him in shock. "But you are sleeping in my bed, Venerable Immortal." After a few seconds of silence he said, "Come here." "I'm not going. I've been poisoned. I'm about to die," the senior immortal said seriously. "I need you to help me. Is that okay?" Oh, when the demoness heard this, she slowly inched over. Just as she reached the bedside, she was pulled onto the bed. After a moment of dizziness, she was in a position where the senior immortal was on top of her. "Do you want to save me?" the man asked hoarsely in her ear. The little demoness nodded her head in confusion. His voice fell. A pair of warm hands covered her eyes. "Then be good." Through the layers of veil, Director Zheng deliberately took a silhouette of the two of them intertwined. It was very artistic and ambiguous. When he shouted cut, the scene was still silent. No one expected that apart from her stunning beauty, Xiangyi also had such explosive acting skills. Chapter 565. The shooting was over. Shui immediately got up and distanced himself from her. He was a gentleman to the extreme. The staff on set woke up from their daze and rushed forward to wrap up the scene. Everyone stole glances at the two of them. Shui was still in his costume, but his temperament had changed abruptly. He returned to his gentle and dignified appearance from Master Immortal Qingling. Obviously, he was out of character. As expected of the best actor, his speed of getting into character and getting out of character was superb. Xiangyi would probably have a hard time. Huh? What was shocking was that Xiangyi was out of character as well. On the girl's body, there was no longer the slightest bit of naivety, sweet, or seductive temperament. Even if she was wearing bright eye makeup, one could still clearly feel that she was her. She was a different person from the little girlfriend in the movie. Her speed of getting out of character was comparable to Shui's. F***ck. Who was the one who said that her acting was bad? Were the eyes used to vent their anger? Director Zheng was a perfectionist who was extremely picky when it came to art. He stared at the scene just now and rewatched it several times before he made an okay gesture to Shui and Xiangyi, who were resting. "It's perfect. We just need to shoot a few more scenes. I want a more aesthetic effect." The two of them had no objections and cooperated very well. Director Zheng suddenly thought of something and rubbed his palms guiltily. "Sister E, will your brothers and little uncles be angry that the script has been changed like this?" In the original version, the most intimate physical contact between the two was the little demoness pulling Shui's sleeve, let alone the immortal seducing the demoness. However, the scriptwriter had written on the spot, and Director Zheng was a little carried away, so he impulsively shot according to the changed script. Now he regretted it in hindsight. Xiangyi said seriously, "My brothers and little uncles will understand if I sacrifice myself for art." The little girl looked calm, but in fact if one looked closely, they would find that the tips of her milky white ears were dyed with a touch of crimson. If it were any other actor, she would never do such a scene, but the one who was acting with her was Shui. She quite liked this kind of open and aboveboard feeling. Perhaps it was time to give Shui a status? Director Zheng heaved a sigh of relief when he got her permission. It was so comfortable to work with a good-tempered and good-natured actress like Sister E. The few additional shots were mostly close-up shots of her on the bed. For example, their hands were clasped together. Another example would be the intertwining of a red dress and a white belt. The most beautiful scene was when the venerable immortal raised his hand to cover the eyes of the little demoness. His meticulous white robe was now open, and his clean Adam's apple was slightly red. It was messy and ambiguous. After the reshoot, the two of them were done with their scenes. Although it was just a guest appearance, Director Zheng still prepared a small wrapping ceremony for the two of them. Fu Jiayan ran over to join in the fun and prepared gifts for the two of them. Xiangyi had a self-heating hot pot, And Shui had a black thermos. Sister E, this hot pot is delicious. It's just that you might be a little heaty after eating it. Fu Jiayan chuckled, looking particularly like a comedian. Xiangyi was stunned for a moment before she smiled. Thank you. Are you that happy? Fu Jiayan scratched his head. It's okay, Sister E. You can tell me if you don't like it. You don't have to act. No, I'm really happy. Other than my family, I rarely receive gifts from others. Xiangyi was a little embarrassed. Fu Jiayan was very surprised. Huh? How is that possible? Chapter 566. I don't have many friends. Ever since she was a child, she had been busy with her studies and had been skipping grades. She learned medical skills from her grandfather and studied cooking by herself. Every time she went to a new environment, the people around her would change before she had time to get used to it. Apart from Jiang Jiujiu, she had never had any close female friends. Even if there were girls who approached her, they would mostly be after her brothers or uncles. Over time, Xiangyi rarely took the initiative to socialize and was more used to being immersed in her own small world. Fu Jiayan was very surprised. Sister E, you're such a gentle person. How can you not have any friends? He suddenly paused and realized something. She's only treated so casually because she's gentle. Fu Jiayan was indeed an actor. He immediately came up with a big scene for Xiangyi and patted her shoulder in agony. Sister E, I'll give you gifts often in the future. Before he finished speaking, he felt a dagger glare from a certain Shui. He was so frightened that his hand trembled and he hurriedly retracted it. The reason was that Shui's gaze was too oppressive and he was scared. Director Zheng flew into a rage when he learned that someone had leaked the news of the script change. Not only did he want to pursue the legal responsibility of the staff who had been fired, he also immediately got someone to edit a video and post it on the internet. TV drama Dideo official. Today's spoiler has been delivered. Fellow Taoists, please sign for it. I'll post the first video of the mental demon fantasy scene today. This interaction is so sweet. P.S. Guess who made a mistake and made the director call for cut? The video was obviously the scene between the immortal and the demoness. Some netizens didn't even click on the video and began to criticize below. Needless to say, Xiangyi must be the one who dragged our Shui down. I'm so tired. Of all the things pretty sister can do, she just has to act. Doesn't Xiangyi only know how to glare and pout? It's really hard on Shui to act with her. However, after the netizens clicked on the video, due to the lack of time, they only used a simple filter to adjust the color. They didn't even have time to match the music, not to mention the various fancy special effects of the Xianxia drama. However, it was precisely because of this that the audience could feel Shui and Xiangyi's acting skills. From the moment the celestial venerable stepped into the veil to the moment the little demoness was pulled into the celestial venerable's embrace, the plot was so sweet that it was off the charts. Especially the last set of close-up shots. It could be said to be a classic work of ancient aesthetics. Netizens, so fragrant. F*CK? What the hell am I doing? Is this Xiangyi? Is this for real? Could it be an AI? I'm shocked. Shui's acting can still improve. Xiangyi's acting is also so good. She's so smooth and natural. I really don't feel that she's acting. In addition to being surprised by Xiangyi's acting skills, they were more interested in the plot. Such an interesting plot. And she's only a supporting character? Fujing. Straighten him up immediately. Director, screenwriter, quickly add more scenes for these two. I want to watch the Celestial Venerable and the little demoness fall in love for 100 episodes. Ah, the Celestial Venerable's eyes are so flirtatious, and the little demoness is so sweet and soft. She's so seductive. This couple is too good. At the end of the video, Director Zheng's exclamation of push them hard, was like a roar from the soul, poking at countless people's funny spots. Who would have thought that the one who made a mistake was Shui? On this day, the untimely couple fans rapidly grew in number. Countless scholars shouted in unison. Round it up to the bridal chamber. Sisters, we've got it for real. I'll adjust my schedule and move the 2 chapters in the morning to the day. I'll also pick a signed book, just leave a comment. Good night. Chapter 567. The couple's fans were celebrating. However, the directors and actors in the industry could feel Xiangyi's amazing acting skills from this short video. Apart from being natural, her aura was almost overflowing from the screen. Her beautiful eyes were captivating, and every frown and smile was moving. How was this a gift from the ancestral master? This was the ancestral master carrying a pot and chasing after him to coax him to eat. Many directors remembered Xiangyi's name. This newbie has a promising future. The thing that really pushed this video to the climax was a new fan novel, The Celestial Lord, written by a popular but low-key writer on a foreign website. The protagonists were the Celestial Lord and the little demoness in obtaining the Tao. However, the plot leaped from the baby carriage to supersonic speed. If it was placed on domestic websites, it would be blocked with an asterisk. However, this author was too good at writing. He vividly portrayed the ambiguous and sweet relationship between the Celestial Lord and the little demoness. It was like stewing a pot of beef brisket with tomatoes. Not only was the meat fragrant, but the soup was also sweet. Although it was only a few thousand words, this novel went viral all of a sudden. Enthusiastic netizens even brought it back to China and secretly spread it around. All of a sudden, the official Weibo account of obtaining the Tao was full of discussions. Looking for full-text resources. The video is even better with the fan novel. What kind of deity is the author of The Celestial Lord? Boo-hoo, he's too good at writing. I must watch that part blindfolded. Obtaining the Tao also gained a wave of popularity. Even the male lead Fu Jiayan's fans had increased by a lot. However, some fans of the opposing team mocked and ridiculed, saying that Fu Jiayan's limelight as the male lead had been stolen by the two supporting characters, Shui and Xiangyi. They must be feeling very aggrieved. Fu Jiayan, who happened to see these comments, personally picked a comment and retorted, "Isn't it nice to have a godly teammate carry you when playing games?" Fu Jiayan's fans agreed. If you don't like your teammates, are you going to report them instead? Some people are dying of jealousy, it can't be helped. Fortune favors fools. Our crown prince has such a godly teammate. Our silly girl can ride on the coattails of Shui and Sister E. What a good thing. You can't ride on their coattails even if you want to. The opposing fans. Wait, your family's main character is now a fan. Are you all so shameless and undignified? His limelight had been stolen, but instead of feeling ashamed, he was proud of it. He was speechless. He had never seen such an artist before. But when he thought about it carefully, if his artist could find a golden thigh like Shui and Xiangyi, F***ck, he was even more furious. Over here. Si Chuanbai and Anan drove over to pick them up, but they couldn't enter the filming location. Xiangyi and Shui had to walk for a while. Coincidentally, Fu Jiayan and the female lead's official fan club came to support them. Seeing Shui and Xiangyi walking out side by side, dozens of people screamed and rushed over. Shiringdi is so handsome. Oh my god, Sister E is so cute. Oh no, I'm going to become her fan. Seeing that the two were about to be surrounded, more than 10 bodyguards suddenly appeared from all directions and surrounded Xiangyi and Shui. They were the bodyguards that the Xiang brothers had prepared for their younger sister. In the crowd, someone shouted in dissatisfaction. It's bad enough that Shui didn't want to give them an autograph or take photos, but Xiangyi is so uncooperative. What's with her acting like a big shot? Let me tell you, celebrities can't be spoiled. It's precisely because we spoil them that they trample on the hearts of us fans. Chapter 568. The scene suddenly quieted down. Everyone looked at each other and exchanged glances with those who were familiar with them. Through the chaotic crowd, the fan finally caught a glimpse of Xiangyi's figure, only to realize that she didn't even look at her performance. A feeling of embarrassment and anger rose in his heart. What did Xiangyi mean by this? Was she disdainful? Xiangyi, why are you acting all high and mighty? I know you heard it. Look at the celebrities from the neighboring countries. They'll cooperate with their fans. How can you be so cold and aloof to the people who like you? This confusing remark made the atmosphere even more awkward. The bodyguards were expressionless as they cleared the way for Xiangyi, as if she was a rich lady shopping. noble and aloof. When Xiangyi passed by the girl tried to squeeze through the crowd and rushed to the front of Xiangyi, but she tripped and was about to fall when a pair of slender, milky hands suddenly grabbed her wrist. Whoosh! The girl fell into a warm embrace and her eyes widened in disbelief. Her wrist was grabbed by the girl in front of her. Up close, her face was bare, but it was exquisite and flawless. There was even a faint scent of orange in her hair. She was slightly shorter than Xiangyi. Due to inertia, her forehead rested on the girl's slender shoulder. The girl's face turned red at a speed visible to the naked eye. On the other side, rewind time to 2 minutes ago. Annan was impatient and couldn't stay in the car. He shouted that he wanted to come and fetch Xiangyi. Si Chuanbai couldn't persuade him, so he accompanied the little colorful guy. From afar, Annan saw the fans who were visiting the set, and was a little worried. There are so many people, will there be any accidents? The next second, he heard the crazy screams of the crowd. Even though Annan had seen the screams of fangirls before, he couldn't help but tremble. Shuringdi's popularity is too strong. They're not his fans and yet they're so agitated. Not long after, the girl who was looking for trouble said something. Annan frowned. I'll go and take a look. He was afraid that Xiangyi wouldn't be able to handle this kind of thing well, so as to avoid being talked about. In the next second, Annan heard screams that were several times louder than before. They were earth-shattering, 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 earth-shattering screams. Ah, Sister E is so cool. Annan. How long has it been? Do you have to betray me so quickly? In the crowd. When the girl steadied herself, Xiangyi immediately let go. Are you all right? She asked. The girl stared at her in a daze. She only felt that Xiangyi was good-looking and her voice was soft. She didn't know why, but she smelled good. She blushed. I am fine, Xiangyi nodded slightly. Be careful. Why didn't you sign for us? Meeting Xiangyi's calm and gentle eyes, the girl couldn't say anything harsh. Instead, her questioning turned into acting coquettishly. Xiangyi was silent for a few seconds. I thought you were joking. She tilted her head and asked in confusion. Would anyone really like me? Previously, when she was about to transmigrate back, Xiangyi saw how the netizens scolded her. The girl widened her eyes. Why would you think that? Do you have some serious misunderstanding about your own popularity? Aren't you the most handsome, cutest, and charming female artist in the world? The fans. Miss, there's something wrong with you. Chapter 569. The people around them were shocked. Sister Yi's temper is so good. That girl just said such nasty things, yet she's still so gentle. Someone boldly asked. Sister E, can I have an autograph? Sister E, can I take a photo with you? Sister E, can you record a message for me as a wake-up call? Xiangyi agreed to all of them good-naturedly, and even asked the bodyguard to help her carry the bags. Hence, Annan, who was in the distance, realized that not only did the screams not die down, but they were also getting louder and louder. There were also confessions such as Sister E likes you so much. Sister E, I love you to death. And Sister E, from today onwards you're my wife. Annan asked. Why isn't anyone shouting Shui's name? Si Chuanbai said calmly, maybe he's past his prime. Annan was speechless. How can you criticize your own artist like that? While the netizens were still praising Xiangyi's acting skills, a few short videos quietly went viral. The first one was of Xiangyi, who was dressed in a shirt and jeans, grabbing the wrist of a girl who was about to fall and pulling her into her arms. The background music was accompanied by classic idol drama music, and it looked inexplicably pink. The second one was of Xiangyi carrying several large bags casually and effortlessly. Not only did she not waste any effort, but she also cooperated with the person next to her to record the ringtone. She gently said, Good morning, Your Highness, and today you're full of energy too. The third one was of Xiangyi taking a photo with someone. Shui acted as the photographer and helped take the photos without complaint. Xiangyi noticed that the zipper of the girl's skirt was half open. Although there was a bra inside, she still immediately blocked the girl's front to prevent her from exposing herself. The netizens were truly confused. Is this really Xiangyi? Two under one roof had made Xiangyi a success, but it also brought about many limitations. Everyone only saw Xiangyi at home, and the people she dealt with were only the occasional guests. But this time, when she came to the set for filming, people saw a different Xiangyi. She was gentle, calm, polite, and educated. She treated everyone with patience and made people feel very comfortable. All of a sudden, the comments under all the videos were full of flattery. Gentleness is indeed a good attribute. Oh my God, Sister E is too much of a boyfriend. I've replayed the scene of him grabbing her wrist dozens of times, and I still think it's so cool. Why are you calling her pretty sister? From now on it's pretty sister. Call her Sister E. I think Brother E can do it too, ha ha ha. Everyone in the entertainment industry saw some clues from this. Xiangyi's popularity was unstoppable. Many brands, directors, TV stations, and video websites had extended an olive branch to Xiangyi. In the minivan, Annan relished in the flattery of the netizens to Xiangyi. After listening to a few sentences, Xiangyi asked in bewilderment, "Are these really not the fake reviewers you hired for me? Oh my God, what kind of person do you take me for?" Annan pursed his lips. "I wouldn't lie to you about such things." "I see. Oh my God, why are you so calm? You've become famous. Isn't this what you've always dreamed of?" Xiangyi said calmly. "After I lost my memory, it changed." She was on good terms with Annan, but not to the point where she could tell him that she was about to pass through. Hence, amnesia was an all-purpose excuse that could be used as soon as it was used. "What did you change to?" "Men," Xiangyi said with a straight face. "The kind that I've always dreamed of." Chapter 570. Annan and Sichuanbai fell silent. Only Shui chuckled and said, "Thank you, it's my honor." This thank you. It was very doggy. Annan looked like an old man who was staring at his phone in the subway. Sichuanbai took out his tablet and informed Shui of her schedule. "There's an SN show on Wednesday, and we need to go to Jincheng on Thursday. If there are no objections, that's it." After informing Shui coldly, Sichuanbai looked at Xiangyi and suddenly changed his tone. "Sister E, after Annan and I considered and discussed it, we've decided to give you 3 commercials. One is National Snail Powder for food, one is hand sanitizer for daily necessities, and the last one is the spokesperson for Hades's brand, WF. Do you think it's okay? If you have any thoughts, feel free to tell me. I'll respect all your opinions." Shui was confused. "What? Who exactly is your longtime colleague and good friend?" Xiangyi flipped through the information prepared by Sichuanbai. There was no doubt about the ability of the top manager. The 3 brands he picked were perfect in all aspects. "I'm fine with anything. Then I'll go talk to the brands," Sichuanbai said gently. "Sister E, don't feel any psychological pressure. Adjust your state of mind. Eat well and sleep well, so that you don't have to worry." Xiangyi thanked him warmly. When it was Shui's turn, Sichuanbai had nothing to say. The two of them looked at each other for a few seconds before he said seriously, "Drink more hot water." Shui was silent for a few seconds. "You too." "Oh." The conversation ended. Sichuanbai followed them to the manor for a meal before going back to work. Annan stayed behind to accompany Xiangyi during the filming of the commercials. Xingchen Entertainment. In the parking lot, Qin Wanyan's makeup was exquisite, but she looked very haggard. She had already squandered all her points, and there was no way to exchange them for the beautifying filter card. In addition, she now had no source of income. Even if she desperately tried to maintain her former glamour, it was just an act, and it could never replace reality. She waited bitterly for a long time before Xiangfeng finally came downstairs. The man's shoulders were wide and his legs were long. When he walked, he looked like a domineering CEO. However, as they got closer, Qin Wanyan noticed that he was holding a hamburger in his hand. She looked left and right. Seeing that there was no one around, she took a big bite. Half a hamburger is gone. Qin Wanyan. She tried her best to convince herself that although this man was a little straight and stupid, he had money and resources. She could force herself to not despise him. The little system in her mind said weakly, "Host, I don't recommend you use such a radical method. When dealing with a man like Xiang Feng, it's better to take things slowly. What do you know? Take it slow. It's too late. Qin Wanyan couldn't stand the fact that she had no popularity, no luxury cars, and no luxuries. What was the difference between her and a loser? She was the chosen one. The goddess of fate would definitely take care of her. Thinking of this, Qin Wanyan tore off the bag on the side of her spaghetti strap dress and walked around the back of the car to Xiang Feng. She pretended to sprain her ankle and threw it at him. Her appearance was too sudden. Xiang Feng only had time to take a step back. He was fine, but the remaining hamburger in his hand fell to the ground like Qin Wanyan. Qin Wanyan was in so much pain that she wanted to curse. She looked up at Xiang Feng with teary eyes. The man blurted out a curse. F***ck. Can you still F***king eat that? Chapter 571. Qin Wanyan. She looked at Xiang Feng in disbelief, wondering if she had heard wrong. Qin Wanyan had secretly practiced this throw many times at home in front of the mirror. From the angle, posture, to the opening of the straps, she was very particular about it. Even if she wanted to throw, she had to show the beauty of pure desire. But who would have thought that after such a successful throw, she would run into a weirdo like Xiang Feng? Mr. Xiang. Qin Wanyan called out to him pitifully. She didn't believe that this man wasn't interested in women at all. I'm sorry for bumping into you. Are you okay? She leaned forward slightly, revealing a large patch of snowy skin below her collarbone. If it were a normal man with normal logic, who wouldn't have some inappropriate thoughts after seeing this scene? However, Qin Wanyan had misjudged how straight Xiang Feng was. He thumped his chest and stamped his feet. My burger is already like this. How can I be okay? I added a double serving of chicken chops. It's gone just like that. I'm so angry. Qin Wanyan. She choked for a few seconds, then tentatively said, Then, I'll buy you another one? Xiang Feng looked at her sympathetically. No need, you have so little fabric. It's obvious that you don't have the money to buy clothes. Your family must be in a difficult situation. I still have money to buy a burger. Qin Wanyan saw that he had no intention of helping her, so she had no choice but to get up herself. She picked up the trash on the ground and walked to the trash can next to her. Mr. Xiang, I'm really sorry, I'll definitely make it up to you. Before she could finish her words, she heard Xiang Feng shout. Stop. You haven't sorted the trash yet. How can you throw it around like that? Qin Wanyan. She smiled stiffly. It shouldn't be a problem, the cleaner will take care of it. How can that be? You're too uncultured. In order to gain a favorable impression in front of him, Qin Wanyan gritted her teeth and picked up the trash again, bracing herself to sort the trash. Next to her, Xiang Feng was still seriously guiding her on the spot. Burgers are wet trash, or perishable trash. It refers to food waste, leftovers, expired food, melon peels, seeds, flowers, herbs, and other biological waste. Food packaging is recyclable. It refers to waste paper, plastic, glass, metal, fabric, and other recyclable and recyclable household wastes. Qin Wanyan. She couldn't even smile. She barely managed to maintain her expression. Thank you, Mr. Xiang. You're amazing. You've taught me so much. I have to thank you even more? No need. Xiang Feng's eyes were filled with disdain. You don't even know that? Tsk. Even though he hadn't said anything harsh, that tisk contained too much meaning. Qin Wanyan was furious to the extreme. She was not going to serve this man anymore. If she didn't conquer him, she didn't believe that she couldn't complete the mission. Just as he was about to leave, the little system's voice sounded in his mind. Host, this is a time-limited mission. If you fail, you will be punished. What punishment? Qin Wanyan asked impatiently. Why didn't you say so earlier? I did remind you, but you didn't listen carefully. The little system's voice was still delicate and weak, but the words it said were incomparably cruel. If the mission fails, the host will be obliterated. Qin Wanyan suddenly felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean by obliterated? She suddenly remembered that the fast transmigrator in Lingya's body seemed to have been obliterated as well. Chapter 572. The little system said innocently. Obliteration means that you will die, host. What did you say? Qin Wanyan asked, suddenly frightened. Is Ling Yi dead too? Sorry, you don't have enough authority to check the results for you. Qin Wanyan asked in frustration. Can't I not do this mission then? No, host. Can't I not be a fast transmigrator? No, host. The little system was still soft and adorable, but Qin Wanyan shuddered. She realized belatedly that being chosen to be a fast transmigrator might not be a good thing at all. The shooting schedule for the snail noodles commercial was soon set, and the shooting plan was also sent to Xiangyi. The content was very simple. It was a heartwarming and beautiful scene of a human and a cat cooped up at home. They would then cook a bowl of steaming hot snail noodles while the kitten played with a furry ball. On the day of the shoot, Shi Sui also had an itinerary, and went out early in the morning. Xiangyi set off at 8 o'clock, and Xiao Naofu came over clingily. Last night, Xiao Naofu and little Shiji got into a fight. To be precise, Xiao Naofu beat little Shiji up one-sidedly. In the end, Xiao Naofu accidentally fell, and hit its head on the edge of the table leg. It was clearly its fault, but Xiao Naofu was so infuriated that it ignored little Shiji, and insisted on going out with Xiangyi. Xiangyi had no choice but to carry it on her back in a cat bag. Anan also put a simple cat toilet in the car. The space was cramped and Xiao Naofu had no choice but to huddle in the corner. Kittens are the most adorable creatures in the world. No matter how poor we are, we can't let kittens suffer. As soon as Xiao Naofu got into the car, it came out of the cat bag and lay in Xiangyi's arms coquettishly, allowing her to gently stroke the back of its neck with her soft fingertips. Anan took out his cell phone, took a photo of the scene, and updated it on Weibo. Xiangyi basically didn't post on Weibo, but Anan would occasionally post about her daily life. Hence, many Spicy Tutu fans followed him. As soon as the photo was posted, it received more than 1,000 likes. Pretty girl and little kitten double critical hit. I can rub 10 of these kittens in a day. Xiao Naofu, you perverted cat. Its claws are actually on Sister Yi's chest. Shi Sui, Shiringdi, here's a cat wearing a green skull cap for you. The Spicy Tutu fans were sucking on the cat and licking the screen. Suddenly, some discordant comments appeared under the Weibo post. What does XY mean? Are you trying to intimidate us? Of all times, she chose to do it now. Who would believe that she didn't do it on purpose? Our pudding is a celebrity pet. It's not something that this kind of hybrid pastoral cat can compare to, okay? Anan was confused by the comments. What's wrong with these people? Do they have nothing better to do this early in the morning? Xiangyi tilted her head and frowned. What's the name of the cat in the shooting plan? Anan was slightly taken aback. He then made a video call to Si Chuanbai. When the call connected, Si Chuanbai seemed to be in the middle of a meeting. Dressed in a suit and leather shoes, he sat upright and raised an eyebrow at him. What's the matter? Mr. Si, am I disturbing you? Anan felt a little guilty. Recently, every time he looked for Si Chuanbai would reply almost instantly, which gave him the illusion that Si Chuanbai was very free. That was why he boldly made the video call. Are you busy? I'll contact you later. Si Chuanbai. You're not disturbing me. Speak. Chapter 573. Anan briefly described what had happened. Si Chuanbai, on the other end of the video call, had a serious and cold expression, as if he was the head teacher who was supervising the primary school students whether or not they were wearing a red scarf. In fact, in the conference room, everyone stared at Si Chuanbai dumbfounded. This man, who was usually called a ruthless work machine, was now leaning back in his chair, twirling a black and gold pen between his fingertips. He was obviously relaxed and lazy. Everyone looked at each other. Something was wrong. Something must have happened. Was Mr. C video chatting with his girlfriend? Mr. C, that's probably what happened. Anan swallowed and lowered his head dejectedly. You can scold me. Si Chuanbai. Why would I scold you? It's because I posted that photo. That's why Pudding's fans were so obedient. Pudding was an internet celebrity cat, and its owner was called Dummy. Its Weibo account and short video account had millions of fans. If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. Si Chuanbai pressed his forehead. Don't worry about it, I'll handle it. Anand, That's it. He thought it was a big deal, but Mr. C downplayed it so casually. Si Chuanbai raised his eyebrows. Are you questioning my ability? The man's tone was quite meaningful. On the screen, little colored fur was panicking. It clumsily shook its head and stuttered. No, Mr. C is very, very good in every aspect. No one knew which sentence pleased Si Chuanbai, who was a glacier that never melted, but the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. Okay, give the phone to Sister E. Okay. Anand gave the phone to Xiangyi. The smile in Si Chuanbai's eyes disappeared, and he returned to his usual cold and ruthless work mode. Some time ago, I just happened to study some examples of successful internet celebrities. Adai is one of them. Her success was not accidental, but inevitable. First, it's the packaging of the team behind it. Second, it's the persistent hype. Third, it's the constant abuse of the fans. After a pause, he said, I suspect that her cat is no longer the original cat. Xiangyi narrowed her eyes. But you don't have to worry about Sister E. I have a lot of dirt on her and her cat. If she continues to provoke us, we won't hold back. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. C. You're welcome. After hanging up, Xiangyi searched for Pudding's photo. It was a white ragdoll cat with fluffy fur and slightly folded ears. It had different colored pupils, one blue and the other yellow, like beautiful gemstones. Other popular cats were also chubby, but Pudding was especially chubby, almost beyond human understanding of cats. There were many cute cats, but they were all pretty much the same. A cat as unique as Pudding could be said to be one of a kind, so it had a large number of fans. Xiangyi's frown deepened. The shooting location for the advertisement was set at a homestay in the suburbs of Nanchang. This homestay was built in a Japanese style, and the main colors in the room were almost only wood and pure white, which looked particularly clean and fresh. When Xiangyi arrived, Dai had already been there for a long time, and was holding a selfie stick and doing a live broadcast. Thank you, Aunt Pudding, for the rainbow rain. Pudding can finally eat canned food today. Dai skillfully interacted with the fans. When she saw Xiangyi, she immediately exaggerated. Wow! Sister E is here. Chapter 574. Dai trotted over to Xiangyi. Hello, Sister E. I'm Dai. Xiangyi nodded in greeting. Smelling the faint catmint scent on Dai, she politely said, Hello. This is my cat, Pudding. Today I'm going to work with Sister E. Thank you for taking care of me. Dai pointed to a cat bag not far away on the ground. The cat bag was round and adorable, with cartoon patterns printed on it. However, the cat bag was a little small for Pudding's size, and there were only 2 exhalations, the bottom and the front. Pudding's entire face was pressed against the transparent frame of the cat bag, as it panted with difficulty. Its big face was slumped like a pancake, looking silly and adorable. The fans in Dai's livestream were all shouting, Pudding is kawaii. Xiangyi frowned slightly and tactfully reminded, Why don't you let Pudding out for some fresh air? It can also familiarize it with the filming environment. Dai said casually, It's okay, our Pudding is very obedient. Xiangyi. She was confused. Couldn't Dai tell that Pudding was already having trouble breathing? Meow meow meow. Xiao Naofu jumped out of the van and wandered around to play. Seeing how wild Xiangyi's cat was, a trace of disdain appeared in Dai's eyes. It was just a stray cat. How could it compare to her cat? However, when she saw the comments in the live stream, Dai began to panic. Wow. That little kitten is so cute. This is what a macho man should be looking at. Whoa, it's so small, it's not even as big as my palm. I think a naughty cat is pretty good. Pudding is just too obedient. Sometimes it does feel a little boring. How could this be? Dai was a little flustered, afraid that Xiao Naofu would steal Pudding's limelight, so she interacted with the fans. Then I'll let Pudding out. Let Pudding say hello to everyone. As soon as they heard that Pudding was coming out, the comments and tips in the livestream increased again. Dai opened the zipper of the cat bag, and the ragdoll cat couldn't wait to get out and take in big breaths of fresh air. Pudding, come, let mommy hug you. Adele picked up Pudding with one hand, and the ragdoll skillfully hugged her neck and meowed at the phone screen. Dai's slender figure made Pudding look even fatter. It was as if she was hugging a piglet. The visual effect was particularly shocking. Aya, our Pudding needs to go on a diet. Dai pretended to lament. If you continue to be so fat, you'll become a kitten that no one likes. When the fans heard this, they all teased. What kitten? It's clearly little Juju. No, I don't think Pudding will look good if she's thin. What do you mean by losing weight? It wasn't fat. It's just furry. Dai was about to say something when the director of today's commercial came and asked Pudding and Xiangyi to get to know each other. Pudding, be good, okay? Dai instructed. The ragdoll cat seemed to have understood human nature as it reluctantly tugged at Dai's clothes, rubbing its little head against Dai's like a spoiled and clingy kitten. When Dai handed Pudding to Xiangyi, the originally docile ragdoll cat suddenly became violent. Ow! Pudding struggled, refusing to let Xiangyi hold her. Dai took Pudding back. Ayaya, Pudding's personality is different from Sister Yi's cat. She's a little introverted and shy. Let me coax her first. Her words successfully provoked the anger of the fans. Chapter 575. The fans had always thought that Xiangyi's manager was being manipulative. Otherwise, why would she post a photo of Xiangyi petting the cat? She was just trying to replace Pudding with that mongrel cat. Yo, didn't XY say that she liked animals before? Now she's exposed herself, right? Exactly. I still remember when the photo of her feeding the deer came out, everyone was bragging that she was a forest elf. It was hilarious. Pudding is such an obedient cat, yet it doesn't like Xiangyi. Shouldn't Xiangyi reflect on herself? Animals are intelligent. They know who will treat them well. The fans thought that they were speaking up for justice, but little did they know that they had become tools to be used. Pudding stuck to Dai and acted coquettishly for a long time. In the end, the director couldn't stand it anymore and reminded her. Only then did Dai repeatedly apologize and put Pudding on the ground. Pudding circled around her feet. After a while, the smell of catmint dissipated and it stopped. Xiangyi squatted down and gently stroked Pudding's neck and chin. She then fed it some dried fish, Xiao Naofu's favorite snack. She had brought a small bag with 5 or 6 strips in it. Pudding sniffed it first and its eyes widened. It then picked it up and ate happily. Xiao Naofu smelled it and ran over. It took 2 strips from Xiangyi's hands and nestled next to Pudding to eat. The contrast between the two cats was too strong. Pudding's tail was thicker than Xiao Naofu's head. Dai's livestream was still open. She wanted to take advantage of today's precious opportunity to stream more. Unexpectedly, a fan raised a question. I feel that this mongrel cat's body size is relatively normal. When Pudding was this big, it seemed to be several times bigger than this mongrel cat. Is it really okay to be so fat? Dai hurriedly tried to change the topic. She blinked innocently and said, Sistery, what brand of dried fish are you feeding me? It's packaged in a minimalist style. I've never seen it before. She was very skillful with her words, leading people's imaginations to wander. Minimalist style. Didn't it mean that the packaging was simple? How can you feed a cat like that? Pudding is a pedigree cat. She's already a celebrity. Is there a need to be so stingy? If you want to buy some branded cat snacks. Even Dai hasn't seen this brand before. God, what is Xiangyi feeding Pudding with? Just as the fans were adding scenes for themselves, the director came over and fed Pudding a piece of dried fish. He was also a cat lover. He usually kept a straight face, but whenever he saw a kitten, he would smile until his eyes narrowed into slits. Sister E, this dried fish of yours is from LP, right? TSK, how extravagant. Adai's heart thumped as she laughed dryly. LP? Is it expensive? The director said confidently, that is the most prestigious brand in the cat snacks industry. Previously, it was the exclusive brand of the royal family of Country E and Country R. but now it was only available to the public for a limited time. Look, with this small bag of dried fish, you can buy dozens of caddies of D brand jerky. D brand was one of the more popular cat food brands in the country. Apart from the high price of cat food, the jerky and canned food were also very expensive. The fans? What the hell? How could such an ordinary and mediocre dried fish be a luxury brand? Some people didn't believe it and went to check the price, only to be instantly stunned. What kind of family did Xiangyi come from? How could she afford such expensive dried fish? Chapter 576. Not only were the fans in Adai's live broadcast room dumbfounded, but Adai herself was also dumbfounded. Even if you have money, you shouldn't spend it like this. It's just a cat after all, an animal. How can it eat better than humans? Hee, Sister E is really generous. Adai ran her fingers through her hair, her whole body overflowing with the fragrance of a lotus. But I think it's better to know your limits when it comes to raising pets. Everything goes too far. Xiangyi said lightly. I didn't buy it, my uncle bought it. He dotes on Xiao Naofu, so I usually cook it myself. Adai. Who didn't know that Xiang Feng was a domineering CEO? Of course, he could buy whatever he wanted. It wasn't worth it for anyone to tell him what to do. Adai was angry and jealous. She even fantasized about how great it would be if she was Xiang Feng's little niece. However, the director became interested. Sister E, what do you usually cook for yourself? Is it very troublesome? Xiangyi shared the recipe. Just boiled salmon, chicken breast, prawns and the like. Occasionally, I'll cook some other meat. It's better for kittens to eat meat as their staple food. Pumpkins, carrots, and sweet potatoes can also be steamed and mixed. These foods are rich in fiber. If possible, you can also feed them cabbage, lettuce, and so on. These can replenish the kitten's vitamins and minerals, but they must be cooked. Fastidious, too fastidious. The director sighed, feeling that he couldn't neglect Adai too much, so he asked, Adai, you've raised a cat for so long, you must have a lot of experience, right? Adai said pitifully, Sister E is really amazing, but I'm usually too busy to cook, so I usually mainly feed them cat food and canned cat food. I'm so envious that Sister E can take care of Xiao Naofu so well. The director was also a shrewd person. He faintly heard Adai's praise and criticism, so he vaguely laughed. It's good. All right, everyone get ready, let's start shooting. The set had been set up in advance. It was a warm and beautiful living room with bright windows and clean tables. With the help of orange lighting, it created just the right amount of warmth. Xiangyi changed her clothes and came over. She wore a clean purple sweater paired with a white long skirt, looking incomparably gentle. With the help of the dried fish, Pudding was now very friendly to Xiangyi. She would even take the initiative to rub against Xiangyi and act like a spoiled child. However, when the staff took out the prepared snail powder, the strong smell somehow stimulated Pudding. Pudding became extremely agitated and even scratched Xiangyi. Rip! The sleeves of Xiangyi's knitted sweater were torn by Pudding's claws. The director repeatedly reminded Adai to turn off the live stream, but Adai pretended not to hear him and shamelessly continued. Seeing this scene, Adai exclaimed, Sister E, don't scare Pudding. Xiangyi. Which eye of yours saw me scaring it? However, Pudding's fans didn't care about that. Is this woman crazy? Why are you scaring our Pudding baby? Why do you think Pudding is your cat? It's very delicate. You can't treat it as you wish. Pudding obviously hates Xiangyi. Can't you replace Xiangyi? Otherwise, I won't watch this commercial. I'll never place an order for snail powder either. Adai blinked her eyes and used the 10th level of Lotus speech. I'm sorry. It's all Pudding's fault. How about we replace Pudding? The director pondered for a moment. Okay. Adai was stunned. The director happily decided. Change it to Xiao Naofu. Adai? Chapter 577. Adai was dumbfounded. Wait, why is this so different from what I thought? Shouldn't the director be coaxing and flattering Pudding? Why is he letting Xiao Naofu take the lead? Pudding's fans were also dumbfounded. In the past, Audai had also live-streamed Pudding taking on other commercial promotions. Which brand hadn't doted on Pudding? Why was it being treated like this today? The fans were furious. Change Pudding? Why? Does that stupid cat deserve it? This is simply an open and above-board conspiracy. The director is flattering the powerful and stepping on the weak. Isn't it just because he's a good judge of character that he used her cat? He's too stupid. He has no idea how much purchasing power we have. Pudding had once endorsed a brand of cat food, and the fans had created a miracle of selling out in 10 seconds. They had always been proud of it and often used it as a topic of conversation. Audai reacted and said eagerly, "Director, how can you change it just like that?" The director said bluntly, "With all due respect, Pudding can't be filmed in its current state. Instead of seeing it in so much pain, it's better to take it to the pet hospital. The most important thing now is Pudding's physical condition. Pudding can do it." Audai was anxious. "It really can." The director waved his hand and hurriedly went to communicate with Xiao Naofu. He tried to give Xiao Naofu a few simple instructions, and was surprised to find that Xiao Naofu was very human-like. Although it wasn't obedient, it was rebellious. Especially when he lay on the ground and stuck his butt out to tease Xiao Naofu, the little cat would look at him with disdain and contempt. Not only was it cute, but it was also very funny. Audai stood there at a loss for what to do. Pudding meowed on the ground, looking like it was in extreme pain. Audai was very annoyed and wanted to kick it. Xiangyi looked deeply at the selfie stick in her hand. Even though Pudding was in so much pain, Audai still didn't stop the live stream. She leaned over and rubbed the back of Pudding's neck comfortingly. The fans in the live stream shouted, "Let go of Pudding. What do you want to do to her?" There were also some rational fans who typed, "What's wrong with Audai? Pudding is in so much pain. Why is she just standing there?" Xiangyi, on the other hand, seems to care a lot about Pudding. Audai was currently upset. When she saw this comment, she casually blacklisted the person. That fan was kicked out of the live broadcast room, and his head was filled with question marks. What the hell? What was there to hide? Xiangyi knelt on the floor. After Pudding calmed down, she rubbed its belly. Suddenly, an unforeseen event occurred. Pudding retched twice and began to vomit. This scene stabbed the hearts of countless fans. Well, what's wrong with our Pudding? King threw a gas can at Xiangyi. What did she do to Pudding? Pudding's condition wasn't that serious just now. It was all Xiangyi's fault. Pudding became like this after she touched it. Dai seized the opportunity and said, "Sister E, what did you do to Pudding? Pudding is fine. Why did she throw up?" This method of shirking responsibility could be said to have been used to perfection. Xiangyi glanced at her and said indifferently, "I should be asking you that question. Pudding only vomited because you touched it. Did you use some kind of massage technique? I know you have medical skills, but the body structure and acupuncture points of humans and cats are different. You can't just randomly massage it." Chapter 578. Without any explanation, Audai first pinned a label on Xiangyi. When the fans heard this, they became even angrier. Anger surged up, and they lost their rationality. They suddenly felt that everything was Xiangyi's fault. Xiangyi was the culprit of Pudding's illness. However, this logic might work on others, but it was useless on Xiangyi. The young girl only needed one sentence to defeat Audai. When was the last time Pudding had a physical examination? Dai's eyes flashed with a trace of panic. Fortunately, her phone camera was facing Xiangyi at this moment. The audience in the live stream could only see Xiangyi's face, but not her expression. She lied and pretended to be calm. "Not long ago. What's wrong? What's the diagnosis?" Xiangyi asked calmly. Some fans felt that Xiangyi was being too aggressive and felt uncomfortable. What is the Xiang family doing? Checking her account? Does she live by the sea? She's too nosy. Our Pudding is fine. She doesn't need to worry about it. There were also fans who realized that something was wrong. Speaking of which, Pudding's health is indeed very worrying. Why is Pudding still spitting out fur balls? It can't be because Xiangyi touched it. If you don't understand, just ask. Why is Dai still arguing with Xiangyi here? Hurry up and send Pudding to the hospital. Dai stammered and couldn't answer. She hadn't taken Pudding for a physical examination at all, so how would she know the diagnosis? Xiangyi. It spat out a lot of fur balls. Did you feed it the anti-fur cream? Dai, of course I fed it. How often? I fed it often. She sounded guilty. Or did you feed it cat grass? Adele was speechless again. Hearing this, the fans were shocked. No way. As a pet blogger, she relies on pets to make money. But she can't even take care of Pudding properly? Hearing this, the advertising director frowned. Xiangyi continued to ask, do you know how much Pudding eats? How many grams of cat food and canned snacks? How could Adai answer? She usually fed her casually. In order to maintain Pudding's unique body shape, which was different from other internet celebrity cats, she often fed Pudding a lot of food. If Pudding didn't eat it, she would add cat mint or other cat snacks to make Pudding eat as much as possible. Adai flew into a rage out of humiliation. Xiangyi, is this the main point? Don't avoid the important and dwell on the trivial. It's because of your Pudding that. Are you a primary school student? Xiangyi calmly interrupted her. The more carefree the young girl was, the more it made Adai look like a shrew. Let me touch Pudding. Will there be fur balls in its stomach? If I touch the Pudding, will it spit out so much undigested meat? If I touch the Pudding, will it not be able to tolerate the frequent catmint stimulation? Anam was dumbfounded. Sister E, what are you talking about? Undigested catmint stimulation. It's very simple. It's because Pudding ate more food than it could bear, and it didn't properly replenish the anti-fur ingredients. As for the catmint stimulation, you have to ask Miss Dai. Why do you use catmint sachets on your body? The most secret corner of Adai's heart was poked, and she said, what nonsense are you talking about? I didn't do those things you said. Xiangyi said lightly, my sense of smell is barely okay. If you have a clear conscience, do you dare to take out the things in your coat pocket? Chapter 579. There was complete silence at the scene. Dai's entire body trembled. She could not believe that the secret she had been keeping all this while had been seen through. Pudding was very sticky to her, but it was just a normal stickiness that didn't achieve the effect she wanted. Hence, Dai had always been wearing a catmint sachet on her. Catmint was like opium poppies to humans, and it had a fatal attraction to cats. With the stimulation of catmint, Pudding would kiss and rub against her at a level that exceeded that of a normal cat. From the visual effect, it would give people the illusion that Pudding was super clingy, especially to her. She defended herself. How could I wear that kind of thing? I don't know what you're talking about. However, this explanation sounded extremely weak. The live stream was in an uproar. Catmint sachet? Xiangyi is slandering her, right? Why would Dai wear that kind of thing? So what if she did? Many cat toys put catmint in them too. No. Putting the dosage aside, it's just cheating to talk about toxicity. For example, the catmint in a cat toy is a sip of Coke, but if her sachet is a liter of white wine, it's terrifying. Dai, if you have a clear conscience, why don't you just take out what's in your jacket and show it to everyone? You can even give Xiangyi a slap in the face. I believe that the truth is clear and there's no need to argue. Seeing the comments in the live stream, Dai suddenly came to her senses. She suddenly regretted turning on the live stream. If she hadn't, she could still cover it up. But now, her fans were all clamoring to see what was in her pocket. If she took it out, wouldn't she be exposed? It's a groundless accusation. Why should I cooperate with you? Dai picked up Pudding in an attempt to cover it up. Forget it, I can just hide. I'll leave now. I don't want the liquidated damages either. It won't affect your filming. She said it in a dignified manner, as if Xiangyi and the others were forcing her to leave. She didn't expect the director to directly undermine her. Miss Dai, we didn't sign a business cooperation contract at all, so how can there be liquidated damages? Please be careful with your words. After being in the entertainment industry for so many years, who wasn't a shrewd person? If it were any other time, the director would not have taken the lead. But he really liked cats, and he couldn't stand seeing Pudding being treated like this. Moreover, with his position, he didn't care about a little odd eye. It was normal for him to act up once in a while. As soon as he said that, there was another uproar in the live streaming channel. After all, Dai had been bragging about Pudding's endorsement for a long time. Recently, Pudding's value had increased a lot. So, Pudding's commercial this time wasn't a commercial collaboration? So what? Working for free. She didn't know that Dai had specifically asked for free in exchange for this shoot. She wanted to use this shoot to raise Pudding's value and make more money. Dai was a little embarrassed and tried to use Lotus words to resolve the predicament. If you want to put it that way, I can't do anything about it. The director didn't fall for her trick. He laughed and said, then take out the contract. I don't like people beating around the bush with me. Oh. She had never signed it before, so where did this contract come from? While Dai was speechless, Pudding, stimulated by the catmint on her body, reached out its claws in a frenzy and tore open Dai's jacket pocket. A small sachet fell out in an instant. Chapter 580. Boom! It was as if a thunderbolt had exploded in her mind. Dai wanted to pick it up, but the director was one step ahead of her, and picked it up. Dai screamed, "Give it back to me. That's mine." The director sniffed it, and his face changed drastically. The smell of catmint was too strong. No wonder Pudding had such a big reaction. "Don't use this kind of thing," Xiangyi said calmly. "It's bad for the cat's health." Dai turned a deaf ear and snatched the sachet from the director, accidentally tripping Pudding. She cursed under her breath, completely ignoring Pudding, who was still anxiously meowing in a low voice. Realizing something, she hurriedly turned off the live stream on her phone. However, it was too late. Although the camera was shaking, the audience still saw everything that had just happened. How could Dai treat Pudding like this? The angry audience bombarded Dai's Weibo with comments. Kind reminder, respond as soon as possible with a smile. What's with the sachet? What's with the feeding? What's with the physical examination? Pudding is sick, but you still kicked it. I'm a little doubtful. Do you really treat Pudding as your family? Seeing that the matter had been exposed, Dai was at a loss, and her first reaction was to run away. Not only did she run away, she didn't even bring Pudding with her. Subconsciously, she felt that the cat had lost its value once it was sick, so she abandoned it directly. This behavior made the staff on the set speechless. How could she abandon her pet so easily? What kind of person is she? I used to send Pudding gifts often. I thought she could take good care of Pudding with money, but I didn't expect. Sigh, everyone was talking about it. The director also felt unwell, but work was more important. He instructed someone to take Pudding to the nearest pet hospital, and then continued with the shoot. The script of this commercial was very simple. Xiangyi, who was staying at home, first stroked the cat for a while, then took the snail noodles to the open kitchen to cook. The kitten played with a furry ball next to her, creating an atmosphere where she lived alone but wasn't lonely. The shoot went smoother than the director had expected. Xiangyi's cooking was simply like a beautiful art. Even if it was a semi-finished rice snail powder, it was like a Manchu Han imperial feast in her hands. Boiling the powder, draining the water, adding the ingredients. Every frame was unbelievably beautiful. What was even more surprising was Xiao Naofu's performance. The kitten was soft and full of energy. The best part was that it was perfect in front of the camera. The director was so excited that he turned into a cat fan behind the screen. He couldn't wait to hold Xiao Naofu in his arms and rub its bald head. On the internet, some resourceful netizens managed to dig out the origin of the sachet. The sachet was not handmade by Dai, but a finished sachet that she had bought. Netizens found the product on a pet medical product website. It clearly showed that the content of catmint in the sachet was very high. The main purpose was to treat anorexia and other conditions in cats. And it could only be sniffed for a while at a time. Because it was relatively unpopular, its sales were not high, and very few people knew about it. However, Dai wasn't using it to treat illnesses, but to wear it daily. He even let Pudding smell it for several hours. The angry fans started scolding. Live streaming was a double-edged sword. It could bring benefits, but at the same time, it could also backfire. Some people even raised new questions. With Dai's way of raising her, was Pudding still the same as before? Chapter 581. At first, only a small number of people had their doubts, but one fan came up with solid evidence. She was originally a die-hard fan of Pudding, but after being kicked out of the livestream by Dai today, she was so angry that she became an anti-fan. She sorted through the old photos of Pudding on her phone and wanted to delete them all. But she found something strange. There was a slight difference in the color of Pudding's fur in the early photos and the current Pudding. Not to mention passers-by, even the fans couldn't tell. If it weren't for her amazing observation skills, she probably wouldn't have noticed it. Thinking of Pudding's size and the questions that Xiangqi had asked in the livestream today, she posted on Weibo. Pudding's Aunt V. Let's not talk too much. I'll just put up a set of comparison photos for everyone to find the difference. She posted the photos of the previous Pudding and the current Pudding. Pudding's Aunt V also had a lot of fans, most of whom were related to Pudding. When they saw this set of photos, they were first shocked and suspicious, then angry and furious. It was because they realized that although the photos were similar, they were really two cats. When Dai logged into Weibo again, what greeted her was not the adorable greetings of her fans, but an overwhelming amount of abuse. Where did the previous Pudding go? People like you don't deserve to be an internet celebrity. You're more disgusting than trash. I'm going to vomit. Dai blacked out and turned off her phone, trying not to look at those comments. Even so, those harsh words kept flashing in her mind. Trash, trash, trash. Go to hell, go to hell, go to hell. Dai grabbed her hair and screamed. The one who really pushed Dai into the abyss was the staff at the shooting of the snail powder commercial. They secretly revealed that Dai had abandoned Pudding on the set because she was sick and had no intention of coming back to claim it. The cat fans were so angry that they started cursing Dai's ancestors. At this point, Dai's reputation was completely ruined. At the shooting location of the commercial, the snow-white rice noodles were soft and smooth, full of elasticity, and the soup was delicious and unique. It was made with condiments such as snails, asparagus, and star anise. It was paired with sour bamboo shoots, peanuts, fungus, and a few pieces of fried tofu. Lastly, it was sprinkled with a handful of vegetables. After it was served, rice vinegar and chili oil were poured. Even through the screen, this scene was enough to make people salivate. The soft little white cat jumped onto the dining table and sat down. It tilted its head and looked at the gentle and clean girl in front of it. Xiangyi used her chopsticks to pick up some powder. The way she ate was not as crude as some food bloggers, nor was it like the aristocratic etiquette of a socialite, but it was inexplicably infectious. Watching her eat was a pleasure. Moreover, his stomach began to growl. This was the feeling of all the staff present. Xiangyi was very dedicated to her work. She finished the entire bowl of noodles. Her cherry lips were dyed red from the spiciness, and her clear doe eyes were watery. When she looked up at the camera, she smiled faintly. She was extremely beautiful. At first, Xiao Naofu complained that the food she ate was smelly, but it endured the humiliation and thought, for the sake of this stupid woman's money, this huhu will work hard to cooperate with her. However, as it looked at the soup, it really wanted to taste it, so it plunged into the soup that Xiangyi had left over. The bowl was too big and it was too small. With a plop, the little kitten fell into the soup bowl. Its white fur was stained and it looked confused. This accident made the director let out a fierce roar. "You're so cute." Chapter 582. The crew on set desperately tried to stifle their laughter and pinched their thighs fiercely. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. She quickly scooped the kitten out of the bowl and wiped it with a wet towel. "I'll make do for now. I'll give you a bath when we get back." After all, Xiao Naofu loved cleanliness. Xiao Naofu secretly licked its paws, which were stained with the taste of the snail powder soup. When it tasted this unique and magical texture, the kitten's icy blue eyes instantly widened to their widest circle. Meow. How could there be food in this world that was more delicious than the prawns cooked by this stupid woman? Xiao Naofu's reaction was completely recorded by the camera. In addition to calling it cute, The director was also very excited. Filming pets was a very difficult thing in itself, and all kinds of accidents could happen. For example, the pet didn't cooperate, or the pet's acting skills weren't up to par. Xiao Naofu's reaction was unexpected. But it was an unexpected surprise. Xiangyi's part of the shoot had already ended. He asked someone to take a few more shots of Xiao Naofu, but the director roughly cut the material and sent it to the brand's father. Within a few minutes, the brand's father sent a WeChat message. More money. I want more money. Ha. What did you say? More money? Xiangyi, who had just removed her makeup, looked at Annan blankly. Annan chuckled. Yes, I've heard of deductions, but it's really rare to see extra money. And they even doubled it. Why? The extra money is for Xiao Naofu. The brand's father is very satisfied with its performance. Xiangyi was stunned at first. Then she burst into laughter and pinched Xiao Naofu's face. Wow, our Xiao Naofu is so amazing. It can even earn money through its own labor. Xiao Naofu's eyes lit up when it heard that it could also earn money. While Annan went to get the car, it rubbed its little head against Xiangyi and gestured with its little paws to the shape of the tablet. Xiangyi was helpless. You've been playing with the tablet a little too much recently. You're simply an internet addict. Xiao Naofu. Meow meow meow. Okay, I'll let you play when we get back. Xiao Naofu was overjoyed. It wanted to go online. It wanted to buy a large cart of snail powder. From now on, it wanted to eat that delicious food every day. Eating 2 packets for a single meal. If I can't finish it, I'll just share some with little Shiji. The suddenly rich Xiao Naofu didn't even bother to sleep as it squatted valiantly in the back of the car, looking like a primary school student who had accidentally won the lottery. The manner. Xiao Naofu was the first to jump out of the car and clattered to the tablet. Its little paws skillfully unlocked the screen. And as it searched for snail powder to place an order, it suddenly realized something. It was so quiet. The little cat looked left and right. After waiting for a long time, it still didn't see that familiar figure. Where was that dog? Could it be that the devil Shui had used it to make dog meat hot pot? The young best actor was reading a book in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. His long legs were slightly bent, and he looked focused and charming. Xiao Naofu pounced over and bit his trousers. Don't mess around. The man's voice was low and magnetic. Meow meow meow. Dog, return little Shiji to me. Seemingly sensing Xiao Naofu's abnormality, Shui looked down and stared at its dirty fur. She frowned slightly and picked up the little cat with her slender fingers. She gently rubbed the back of its neck twice. Why did you get yourself into such a sorry state? You're ugly and smelly. No one would want you for hot pot. Xiao Naofu. Damn it, let's perish together. Chapter 583. The white and soft kitten was so angry that it wanted to bite someone, but Shui easily grabbed the back of its neck. It was suspended in midair, and could only flap its paws helplessly. Meow meow meow. The more Xiao Naofu thought about it, the more aggrieved it felt. Tears welled up in its eyes and fell with a thud. As soon as it cried, Shui froze for a few seconds before letting go of the shackles and stroking the kitten's head gently. Why are you crying? Kitten. Xiao Naofu made a vomiting expression, but it still couldn't stop its tears from falling. Shui sighed, feeling a headache coming on. Apart from Xiangyi, he had never been good at coaxing other creatures to cry. After thinking about it, he threatened with a sullen face. If you cry again, I'll kiss you. That sentence was more effective than any comfort. Xiao Naofu forced its tears back, but it looked even more aggrieved. It looked in the direction of the cat villa where the mutt would usually sleep, but now, the fluffy nest was empty. It was as if little Shiji had never existed. Shui followed its line of sight, and understood what was going on. Xiangfeng has been free recently, so he brought little Shiji home to raise it. Don't worry, although he's a little unreliable, he still dotes on cats and dogs. Speaking of which, he was the one who picked up Xiao Naofu. Turns out that mutt wasn't caught and eaten. Xiao Naofu heaved a sigh of relief. It suddenly felt embarrassed and wiped its tears with its furry paws, jumped off the sofa with its buttocks raised, and continued to play with its tablet. However, the games it usually liked to play, watch Mukden shows, and shop around were suddenly meaningless at this moment. After playing for a while, Xiao Naofu lay on the ground and wagged its tail in boredom. If only that mutt was here. It would lick my fur, act as a meat cushion, and even give up its favorite canned beef. Some time passed. Xiao Naofu, it's time to take a shower. Xiangyi's gentle voice sounded, but Xiao Naofu was still listless. Meow. Huh. Xiangyi pushed the tablet to it. Ever since Xiao Naofu learned how to type, communication between the two had become much easier. Xiao Naofu pressed the screen with its paws and asked, "When will little Shiji come back?" That might not necessarily be the case. Why don't I send you to little uncle's house to stay for a few days? Xiao Naofu shook his head solemnly and typed. If this Huhu leaves, who will protect you, stupid woman? Seeing this, Xiangyi's heart warmed. She hugged Xiao Naofu and kissed it several times. Xiao Naofu, why are you so cute? Meow. Don't use cute to describe this Huhu. Use fierce, okay? Xiangyi was amused by its serious look. She lowered her head and sent a message to her uncle. Evening. The live stream started. Xiao Naofu squatted on the steps, gazing at the setting sun with melancholy. Looking out of the floor-to-ceiling window in the living room, he could only see a small round head with two drooping ears. She looked very listless. Li Jinyu specially found a camera position to film it, and the fans in the live broadcast room were all melted by its cuteness. From today onwards, I'm a cat fan. I'm going to bite such a cute kitten. Adorable, brainless. Happy brainless. Until woof. Woof woof. When it heard the familiar bark, Xiao Naofu's ears immediately stood up. At the door, little Shiji was running towards it merrily. In the next second, Xiao Naofu jumped down the steps and ran towards little Shiji. Chapter 584. The sunset glow was gorgeous and magnificent. The cat and the dog ran in both directions. Many viewers couldn't help but smile in front of the screen. This is so cute. The two short legs are running towards each other. It's so touching. I actually cried watching this. It's so beautiful. Everything is soft and peaceful. Whoosh. The little cat and the Shiba Inu met successfully. Woof. Meow. Woof woof. Meow meow. The cat and the dog barked at each other a few times, after which little Shiji excitedly pounced on Xiao Naofu and kissed it while licking its fur. Meow meow. Xiao Naofu protested twice, but soon narrowed its cat eyes in comfort. Its whiskers trembled, and a low purr overflowed from its throat. In the living room, Xiangyi and Shui were drinking tea and reading a book. Upon sight of this scene, the two looked at each other and chuckled silently. In the live stream, the fans began to make fun of them. Cat porn? Children shouldn't watch such intimate scenes. Otherwise, yellow horns will grow on their heads. Qiao beanbag. Xiao Naofu and little Shiji are of different species, but they have the same gender, right? Is this really okay? The atmosphere was harmonious. However, there were also some who argued. Little Shiji is a pedigree dog while Xiao Naofu is just a mutt. They're not compatible, right? Such comments were now ignored in the live stream. However, some netizens quickly took a screenshot and posted it on the Melon forum. In addition to the ha 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 ha, all kinds of idiotic netizens came out and seriously discussed the topic of this cat and dog mismatch. Come on, our Xiao Naofu is a young master who led a wandering life, okay? Little Shiji is just a hedonistic son of a wealthy family. Xiao Naofu is very popular. Some little Shiji fans should stop saying that your cat is outdated. Has it ever been popular? Hehe. No way, no way. What era is it now? Why are you still calling it a mutt? Our Xiao Naofu is clearly a noble Huaxia mutt. You may think it's a mutt, but we don't think it's a mutt. All of a sudden, the drama queens went online and began arguing on the internet. Meanwhile, the company behind Audai did not give up. Although the account could be refurbished and the person could be changed, they still decided to squeeze the last bit of value out of Audai's account. At 7:30 p.m., Dai's account posted a long post on Weibo, claiming that Xiangyi was using her popularity to bully others, and that she had made Xiao Naofu replace putting in the commercial. After this Weibo post was posted, Dai's account opened a tipping function. Some netizens who had just started to gossip believed it and tipped Dai a lot of money. However, with the old fan's explanation, the netizens who were new to the topic suddenly woke up. What? Dai was actually so disgusting. Not long after this Weibo post was posted, Xiangyi's Tomato Entertainment and the economic team led by Sichuanbai immediately retaliated. Sichuanbai also bought Pudding's Aunt Pudding's Weibo post to become a trending topic. This pudding is not that pudding hashtag. Many people thought it was food and clicked in out of curiosity. They were shocked by Dai's actions, purposely fattening the cat and letting it die when it couldn't take it anymore. Then changing to a new cat to deceive the fans? And all of this had something to do with the company behind her. Countless netizens were disgusted. Dai and her company had tasted the consequences of their actions that night. However, the wonderful thing was that various cute photos of Xiao Naofu suddenly spread on the internet. Chapter 585. For example, it tilted its head and acted coquettishly, acted like a little green tea, or held a milk bottle and drank goat milk powder. In this era of cat fucks, countless cat lovers felt the depths of their souls trembling when they saw these stickers. Ow. It's a cat. It's a cute cat. Cats are the cutest creatures in the world. In an instant, Xiao Naofu's stickers surpassed the popularity of Fu Jiayan's silly stickers and became the top sticker in the world. Everyone who didn't have a few cute Xiao Naofu stickers would be too embarrassed to call themselves a new generation surfer. In the beginning, some netizens thought that Xiao Naofu was an internet celebrity cat, but after learning more about it, they realized that Xiao Naofu had a live stream program. It was simply a celebrity cat. On this day, the live stream of Two Under One Roof welcomed a new huge stream of traffic. Their competitors were dumbfounded. After a long time, a program would accumulate loyal fans, but at the same time, it would lose its novelty and viewership rate would become lower and lower. However, Two Under One Roof was simply amazing. Not only did it start at the top, but it could also attract more traffic. Shui's career fans, girlfriend fans, and wife fans, Xiangyi's face fans, foodie fans, mother fans, and milk powder fans. Now, even a muddy cat had its own fan base. It even opened its own cat Weibo account. Countless people were in awe. There were also many industry professionals who felt that they could create a program that was more popular than Two Under One Roof. For a time, major television stations and video websites began to prepare for live streaming variety shows. In the next few months, new programs popped up like mushrooms after a rain. Over the next few days, Xiangyi filmed advertisements for hand sanitizer and women's clothing. The filming went smoothly. However, the brands put forward an additional condition. At first, Annan was shocked to hear the other party's request. What? Sign a contract with Xiao Naofu? Are you sure it's not Shui? The brand representative smiled slightly to show politeness. Yes. Annan murmured. Is Shui really past his prime? The brand representative was speechless. What? What misunderstanding do you have about Shui's popularity? It wasn't that they didn't want to hire him, they couldn't afford it. Shui rarely took on endorsements, but she was deeply doted on by the fashion industry and received all kinds of sponsorships. However, apart from a few top luxury brands, there weren't many brands that could afford to hire Shui. All in all, Xiao Naofu had two more sources of income. The little milk cat had transformed into a working cat and was very cooperative during every commercial shoot. Xiangyi even opened an account for it and transferred all the income into it. Xiao Naofu would squat in front of the tablet every day and indulge in shopping. Apart from the snacks, toys, and game consoles that he liked, he also bought a lot of things for little Shiji. Xiao Naofu had been trending for several days in a row, and a pet blogger secretly used a small account to complain. Sometimes I really can't help but sigh at the magic of fate. No matter how hard you work, you might as well be reincarnated into a good family. I don't mean anything else, I just feel sorry for our big cat. After putting in so much effort, it can't even compare to a little mud cat, many people echoed. That's right, that's right. What's the use of working hard? In this day and age, not only do humans have backers, Even cats have backers. All of a sudden. Happy Snails fans V. Thank you Xiangyi V Xiao Naofu the most adorable V for filming the little wonderful commercial. I hope you who are on Weibo will eat well whether you're alone or with someone. Take a sip of the powder and be happy. Chapter 586. The accompanying video was shot by Xiangyi and Xiao Naofu together. When Nan saw this Weibo post, he projected the advertisement onto the TV and pressed the pause button. He then pulled Xiangyi and Shui to watch it together. Xiao Naofu meowed a few times and acted coquettishly. Xiangyi's heart softened and she hugged the kitten in her arms. Little Shiji stared at Xiao Naofu eagerly. Perhaps knowing that it was inconvenient to be carried because of its large size, it rubbed itself against Shui's trousers and lay on the ground to watch the TV obediently. Nan was speechless. Xiangfeng had also been living in the manor recently, but as a domineering CEO, he would work until 5 in the afternoon even if he had nothing to do. This was the stubbornness of Xiangfeng. Without Xiangfeng around, Nan suddenly felt that he was quite redundant. It just so happened that it was time for the livestream to start today, so Li Jinyu decided to start the livestream in advance and broadcast Xiangyi's advertisement. Livestream viewers. There's such a thing? After hashtag watching a livestream in the livestream room hashtag, there's another hashtag watching an advertisement in the livestream room hashtag? Ha 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 ha. Director Li really dotes on Sister Yi too much. He's so worried about Sister Yi's career that he doesn't forget to promote Sister Yi at all times. Xiao Naofu is sitting on Xiangyi's lap and swinging its little legs around. Nanny, hurry and cast a healing spell on me. I'm going to pass out sob. Birds of a feather flock together. Xiao Naofu sticking to Sister Yi means that Sister Yi is as cute as a cat. Little Shiji sticking to Shui means that of a family of 4, Shui is the most adorable? Amidst the comments of the audience, Nan pressed the play button with the remote control. The scene started with an empty shot, then moved past the dream catcher by the window, the cactus in the room, and the magazine in the book. Then it naturally turned to Xiangyi. The girl knelt on the tatami. Her purple sweater was gentle. She slowly opened the packaging of the rice snail powder. The kitten at her feet was playing with a ball by itself. When it heard the sound of the packaging being torn, it curiously leaned over to smell it. The smell made the kitten's face change color. Then it was a set of food scenes. Xiangyi cooked the snail powder until it tasted like Hua country on the tip of her tongue. Watching her cook was a kind of immersive enjoyment. When she scooped the rice snail powder into a bowl, sprinkled it with white sesame seeds, and sprinkled it with chili oil and rice vinegar, Nan couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Wasn't this too good? When Xiao Naofu smelled the smell, its cat face wrinkled even more. It held its salted fish toy in its mouth and ran far away from Xiangyi. When Xiangyi ate, it would bite the salted fish. When it got tired of playing, it would lie down on the hammock with its head facing the sky and its eyes squinted. It would then snore comfortably. Xiangyi ate the rice noodles while Xiao Naofu snored contentedly. It was a stark contrast, but at the same time, it was also a silent echo. There was no need for too much narration, but it made one think of a word: beautiful. When Xiangyi finished the last bowl of rice, Nan couldn't help but unwrap the snacks on the table and stuff them into his mouth. Shui coughed and said, "You seem to be eating little Shiji's jerky." Nan was dumbfounded. Xiao Naofu protested, "Meow. It's mine." Although it was bought for little Shiji. At this moment, Xiao Naofu, who was in the advertisement, couldn't hold back its curiosity. It first squatted on the table and tilted its head curiously before sticking its buttocks into the bowl. Plop! Xiao Naofu fell into the big bowl and looked up at Xiangyi in confusion. It licked its paws and widened its eyes. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. The scene froze at the moment when the girl and the cat looked at each other. You're tuning into the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.